My 7-year-old son told me not to wear the wedding dress. And when I checked the veil, I found a note from my dead husband. I'm Claire Mitchell, 34, a nurse at St. Mary's Hospital, and a single mom to Ethan. 2 years ago, my world shattered when my husband, Michael, died in a car accident. Now, I'm days away from marrying Greg Stanford, a lawyer who swept into my life like a lifeline. He's kind, successful, and Ethan adores him. The wedding is set for Saturday at the Old Vineyard Estate, with roses climbing the trellis and fairy lights strung like stars. Everything's perfect, almost. Ethan's been off lately. Nightmares wake him, sweat-soaked, clutching his stuffed. Dinosaur Daddy doesn't want you to wear the dress, he whispered last week, his brown eyes wide. I held him close, heart aching. The dress is from my first wedding to Michael, a vintage gown of ivory lace I couldn't part with. I had it altered, kept the same veil. Sentimental maybe, but it felt right. Ethan's words, though, they linger like a chill. Sweetie, Daddy would want us to be happy, I tell him, smoothing his hair. He shakes his head, stubborn. He says, it's bad. I chalk it up to grief resurfacing. Michael's death left scars on us both. The police said his car skidded on black. Ice hit a tree. No witnesses. No answers. Just a closed casket and a hole in our lives. Flashbacks haunt my Michael's laugh. His hands sketching blueprints for our dream house. His late nights at the law firm. He'd been stressed before the accident, muttering about something, off at work. I'd brushed it off then, busy with Ethan and 12-hour shifts. Now, I wonder, the wedding preparations hum along. Greg's planned everything, the caterers, the band, even a bounce house for Ethan. You deserve this, Claire, he says, kissing my forehead. His smile is warm, but sometimes it doesn't reach his eyes. I push the thought away. I'm just nervous, right? Friday night, Ethan's nightmares worsen. He crawls into my bed, trembling. There's something bad in the veil. Mommy. His voice is so small. I hug him tight, promising to check. It's just a kid's fear, I tell myself. But the next morning, wedding day, I'm pinning the veil in place when I feel it is scratchy edge along the hem. My fingers pause. It's probably just a loose thread, isn't it? I lift the veil under the light. There, barely visible, is a tiny stitch, uneven, out of place. My pulse quickens. I grab scissors, hands shaking, and snip the thread. Something slips out, a folded scrap of paper. I unfold it, and my breath catches. Michael's handwriting, unmistakable, scrawled in black ink. If you're reading this, it means I'm already gone. Don't trust Greg. He's not who he says he is. The room spins. Ethan stands in the doorway, clutching his dinosaur. I told you, Mommy. Asterisk, the note burns in my hand. Michael's words loop in my mind. Don't trust Greg. How did he know Greg? They never met. Greg came into my life after the accident, a chance meeting at a hospital fundraiser. He was charming, supportive, always there when I needed him. Too perfect, maybe. I shove the thought down, but it claws back up. I can't confront Greg, not yet. The wedding's hours away. Guests arriving, and Ethan's watching me like he knows more than he's saying. I tuck the note into my jewelry box and paste on a smile. Everything's fine, buddy. I tell Ethan, but my voice cracks. I start digging. First, I replay how Greg entered my life. He'd known details about me, my job, Ethan's school, Michael's accident. I'd thought it sweet. But now it feels calculated. I check his social media, his firm's website. Everything's polished, professional, no red flags. Yet, Ethan tugs my sleeve that afternoon. I saw Greg with a scary man, he whispers, in the parking lot at school a few weeks ago. My stomach drops. What did he look like? Ethan describes a man with a shaved head. Tattoos creeping up his neck. I file it away. Heart pounding. I think back to Michael's accident. The police report said faulty brakes. But Michael was meticulous about his car. He'd had it serviced days before. I'd never questioned it. Swallowed me whole. Now, doubts creep in. Greg worked at the same law firm as Michael, though in a different department. Could they have crossed paths? I call Tanya, my friend and a detective with the county police. Can you pull Michael's accident report? I ask. keeping my voice low. She hesitates. Claire, that case is closed. I beg, and she relents. I'll look, but don't get your hopes up. Next, I visit Michael's old friend Tom, who worked with him at the firm. Over coffee, Tom's face darkens when I mention Michael's late nights. He was onto something, Tom says. Suspected fraud in one of the firm's big accounts. He was gathering evidence, but then he trails off. The accident. I press him, did Michael mention Greg? Tom shakes his head, but his eyes flicker. He knows more than he's saying. Back home, paranoia sets in. My phone's been sluggish, apps opening on their own. I check my bank account, small withdrawals I don't recognize. Then, a call from Ethan's school. Someone requested his records, claiming to be me. My blood runs cold. Greg's been in my house. My life, my everything. What does he want? I remember Michael's case files, sealed in a safe deposit box after his death. He'd been adamant I keep them locked away. Could Greg be after them? The engagement? The wedding knit? All feels like a chess move now. I play along, laughing at Greg's jokes, letting him kiss me while my mind races. I need proof. And a plan. Asterisk. Decide to go through with the wedding, not to marry Greg, but to trap him. Tanya's on board, slipping a hidden mic into my bouquet. You sure about this? She asks. I nod. Steel in my veins. Michael warned me for a reason. I owe him and Ethan this much. I act the blushing bride, but I'm watching Greg. He's too calm, too rehearsed. At the rehearsal dinner, he mentions a cabin Michael and I stayed at years ago, a detail I never shared. My skin crawls. How does he know I sweep the house while Greg's at work? Under the guest room lamp, I find a tiny camera, red light blinking. Another in the kitchen clock. He's been watching us. I leave them in place, heart hammering, and call Tanya. She runs Greg's name through her database. He's clean, she says, but her voice is tight, too clean. The wedding day dawns. I slip on the dress, the veil, and check the hem again. There's Mora, hard, small lump. I cut it free, a USB drive, taped tight. My hands shake. Ethan watches, silent. Did you know about this? I ask. He nods. Daddy told me in a dream. I don't question it. Not anymore. I plug the drive into my laptop. Files load, spreadsheets, emails, recordings. Michael's voice fills the room, detailing embezzlement at the firm, naming Greg as the mastermind. He'd planned to turn him in. The brakes weren't faulty. Greg hired some women with tattoos to sabotage them. I clutch the desk, rage and grief colliding. At the vineyard. Guests fill the pews. Greg waits at the altar, smiling. I walk down the aisle, veil trailing, Mike live. Ethan's in the front row, tablet streaming to Tanya's team. I pause before Greg, voice steady. I know what you did to Michael. His smile falters. You're mistaken, Claire. I press on, listing details from the USB. His eyes dart to the exits. I step back. You killed my husband. The crowd gasps. Tanya's team bursts in, cuffs ready. Greg lunges, but they tackle him. Ethan's tablet captures it all, live streamed to the cloud. Guests whisper. Phones out as Greg's hauled away. Later, Tanya confirms it. The USB had everything, proof of fraud, murder, all tied to Greg. The scary man was a hired fixer, already in custody. I sit with Ethan at Michael's grave, red balloons in hand. You protected us, I whisper, letting them soar. Ethan squeezes my hand. Daddy's still here. I walk down the aisle, not to say I do, but to say goodbye to the man who tried to destroy us.